Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome to Toon Jam 2022. Future is now. Yes, the first episode of the year. Exciting, fresh times here on Toon Jam, and we're going in a completely new direction. It's all David the Gnome. Non-stop.
Finally.
Welcome to David the Gnome Jam. Before you turn this off, I just want to say farewell to our usual fans. And JK, Happy New Year. It's not really David the Gnome Jam, don't worry.
Not yet.
It will happen, but not today. No, it is Toon Jam. And today we are covering Inside Job. What is it, you ask? If you don't know what it is, well, let me tell you. Inside Job is an American science fiction comedy adult animated streaming television series created by Shion Takuchi. Pronunciation unknown. Apologies if that's wrong. Which premiered on October 22nd, 2021 on Netflix. Takuchi, a former Gravity Falls writer, acts as showrunner and is an executive producer alongside Gravity Falls creator Alex Hirsch and BoJack Horseman director Mike Hollingsworth. In an interview with Petrana Radulovic of Polygon, apologies again, today is just one of those pronunciation days, but Takuchi said the idea for the show came from her days in college. Said there isn't anything too weird for the show, as long as it develops the characters, saying that there are subject matters which are a little too adult for all ages that people her age deal with, saying it feels good to be able to talk about them in the show. She said that doing an adult animation is intimidating. The series premiered on Netflix and is pretty fresh indeed, pretty new. Between October 24th to October 31st, the series was watched for, get this, 21,240,000 hours on Netflix globally. That's a new way of showing ratings, apparently.
Quantifying how many people.
Yeah, so I don't know what that means, but that's a lot of hours.
Yeah, it seems like a lot. Yeah.
So popular, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's so
one
big,
person's
you can't
like
even put
well
that
into it.
Yeah.
Or it's well popular. Ratings wise, let's hit the usual suspects. So IMDb rating, what's your guess?
I'm gonna go 6.9.
6.9. Okay, and what I'm going to do before I reveal what they actually are, I'm going to get you to guess all of them, because I feel like the answer to one sometimes influences your answer to others.
Yeah.
So this is for your own benefit. So we'll go over to Rotten Tomatoes. We have both an average tomatometer and average audience score. So what's your guess for the audience score? Let's start with.
Yeah, audience score, I'm going to say 72.
72 audience score.
Yeah.
Okay, and average tomatometer.
And tomatometer, I'm going to say 100%.
100%. Okay, so you need to remember these because I'm already forgetting them.
Yeah.
So 72, 100%. What was your IMDb rating?
6.9.
6.9. Right, IMDb.
Yeah.
The rating. So there's 11,000 ratings on there.
Cool.
And it's got 7.7.
Oh, I was off by a full point at least there.
Yeah. It's, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, okay, right. Average audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. 90%.
Whoa. I said 72.
You
That's
said
a
72.
lot better. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but this is where you really gonna get blown away.
Yeah.
Average tomatometer, whatever you want to say, is 83%.
What? What is
Yeah.
that?
It's not
How is that
100%.
How is that possible?
It's crazy.
Oh man.
Obviously, something in the system over
This
at
is
Rotten Tomatoes.
full of surprises, this show.
It's a new year with
Yeah.
new surprises. Had you watched Inside Job previously?
No, I
This is
hadn't.
fresh.
I did. It did pop up, and I was like, "Oh, that looks intriguing." But I think it turned up in like a week on Netflix when there was like 5 different animated shows that all kind of came up. So I ended up watching the other ones and not this one.
And so save this one for Toon Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not watch this. I saw it come up and completely just ignored it.
Oh, no excuses.
No excuses. Just was like, nah.
No, goodbye.
So I didn't have high expectations for it. Sometimes a good thing, but we shall see. What's Twitter got to say?
Well, it's, Twitter is it seems very positive about Inside Job. We've got Brad Galloway who says, "Watch the first season of Inside Job on Netflix. Feels a little breathless at times, but it's pretty clever and the jokes are on point. Definitely a thumbs up. Bring on season 2."
Using the thumb system. Sorry, I cut you off
yeah.
there. What was the last after thumbs up?
Bring on season 2.
Oh, there you go. Even so I just got so excited about the thumbs up.
I know, like it's catching on almost, even though not that we invented it or anything.
No, yeah, I'd like to claim we did, but anyway,
we're perpetuating it.
So,
we're keeping it alive.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's it. So nice one.
Yeah,
good. Get in there on that one. Okay, so good stuff. Bring on season 2.
Nice review from Brad Galloway.
Yeah.
We've got Jocelyn's Pretty, who says, "Have you all seen Inside Job on Netflix? OMFG, talk about they speaking the truth, word for word, skull emoji."
Oh, I feel like that's, I don't know. So some people have watched this and gone, finally, someone's telling the truth.
Yeah.
I feel like, well, I mean, hopefully there's irony in that tweet, because I feel like that is exactly what this show is not saying.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess everyone reacts differently.
Yeah.
But some people watched Seinfeld and thought this was a documentary. This is they set up cameras in this man's house and around his neighborhood, and we are just watching the events take place.
Yeah.
I guess there's no way to tell somebody how to watch a show, and they're happy with the truth that are being told. Yeah. So that's good for them.
Maybe at the end of all this, they're going to be the ones laughing at us.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
We don't know. Yeah, no, we don't. We've also got, I think that's a Racing Dumbass, who says, "Inside Job, season 1 in brackets. I thought this was going to be Le Dumb Netflix meme show, but it was actually really good." So quite a turnaround from.
Yeah. So they went in too with low expectations.
Very low, yeah.
Which I think says a lot about Netflix adult animated shows.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah.
Not high expectations from viewers.
No, but I think, to be honest, I'm a bit like that with any adult animation show nowadays.
Yeah. I'm the same. I'm the same. Yeah. It happened. We're just there at that point now. I think there's been a lot of disappointing ones.
Well, it's one of them. It's one of them genres where it feels like everyone jumps on a bandwagon.
Yeah.
So every now and again you'll get a good one, and then there's loads like it.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, let's do one like that. Let's do one like that, and then
lots of fodder. Yeah.
So
But
yeah, I
Rate's dumbass. No, thought this was good. It was really good.
Turnaround.
We've also got Call Me Nearer, who says, "I told y'all, watch this show, Inside Job, on Netflix." Crying laughy face, palm face palm emoji. The whole show, damn near true. The title is Inside Job. They playing with us.
So again, this is another one where like people have watched it and think it's almost like teasing them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, some of these people must be joking. I think they might be, but they also could not be. That's the magic.
We just don't know.
The internet is you just satire is absolutely just transparent. You can't tell if it's there or not.
Yeah, sarcasm doesn't work in straight written form always, so you kind of have to be careful.
Yeah. I suppose I said that wrong. I meant opaque completely, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's what I meant. But yeah, you really just can't tell if someone's joking or not. And especially with a show like this, people have been known to take many of these subjects very seriously. And continue to live their lives in that manner. So hard to tell, very hard to tell. Thanks for that very hard to understand tweet there, Call Me Nearer. And then finally, we've got Caffeine Shot, because it's all in caps, who says, "Can Netflix just give me the goddamn Inside Job icons already? Like, question mark. Bro, why else am I using your streaming service, huh?"
So I mean, so what is it they want?
I think it's you sign in, you can choose a picture.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and that's what. To be fair, I'm completely down. Sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I'll use this as my icon, and then you look through and you're like, why is it not on there?
Yeah, there's like it's really weird. There's some there's like 10 lots of different absolute Z-list shows that have got a whole stream of icons, and you're like, why is that on here? Nobody watches this show. But then, all your favourites, nothing there.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
I don't know. It's so weird. There's so many good characters that they could use that are from their own shows.
Yeah. The icon department at Netflix, it needs. This is the year 2022. It needs a refit. We need to revamp this. Yeah. It needs sorting out. Netflix. That's your priority.
I don't, just look at your shows and say, does this have a good set of interesting icons?
Does this have...
or is it just like your mum and her mates?
Yeah,
because that's not what people are wanting.
No,
surely. No.
Yeah, full revisit on that. Stop making original content right now and sort those icons out first.
Sick of it. Yeah, fair point.
Very good
fair point.
Very
I like
good
that.
Point, Caffeine Shot.
Tweet. Yeah. Well in.
That's it.
Okay. Well. Okay. So yeah, all positive.
Yeah.
No negatives at all.
No.
Interesting. So.
Or were they negative? I mean, it's hard to tell if I guess.
Yeah.
Well, no. I suppose even the people that thought may have thought it was true said it was good because it was telling the truth. So.
Yeah, because it's telling the truth. So.
Yeah. All good.
100% on Twitter Tomatoes.
Yeah. Which makes it even more baffling that Rotten Tomatoes itself.
I know, yeah.
I mean, that's the real conspiracy.
Obviously, some lizard men watching, rating it bad on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Sick of them. It's true. Yeah. They're behind it all.
Right. Okay. Well, let's dig into that. The conspiracy theories of Inside Job.
Yeah.
And what it is. How did you, straight off the bat, your thoughts, like instant thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it felt very adult animated show pretty quickly for me. There was some sweary words. There was a lot of fast chat. A few Gen Z gags. There was, just kind of outlandish behaviour Yeah, it felt like, oh, okay, yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting. But it did get into kind of the subject matter pretty quickly. Like it didn't really seem like there was a lot of preamble. I think it was like, minute 2, you inside the facility or whatever. There was no messing around. It was very quick to get to the point, I think, which I quite enjoyed. I think I didn't want 4 episodes of like, ooh, are the conspiracies real or whatever. It was just, we're not wasting any time. So that was quite pleasant.
Yeah. The first thing I thought, the first thing my first thoughts are how it felt very, very similar to Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you can kind of tell they're building on like a similar premise with, an angry, like angsty professor-y type character, like the scientist, and then a dumb sidekick, essentially.
Yeah.
A dumb human sidekick.
Yeah. It was Rick and Morty is definitely the first one that comes to mind. Like, obviously, it's got the sci-fi elements and stuff, and it almost seems like they were, doing lots of little things. Like, notice how there's lots of fluids in the show, and they were all animated like super smooth and stuff. So like all the fluid stuff was really like, oh, that was weird, or that was gross, or whatever. Like very over the top fluid nonsense, as is Rick and Morty with alien guts and goop and whatever. Like, so yeah, it did. I feel like if you'd seen that show before, there's no way you're not thinking, oh, this is very familiar when you pick this one up.
But it did have its own original take on it's like an original take on a well-known formula. Like a Coke Zero or something. Or like, maybe more like a cherry Coke.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah. So it tastes kind of different, but it's still the same product, to a degree. But you could prefer one to the other. Yeah,
that's true.
But yeah, this is more, and this is completely personal. It's not really down to anything they did. But I don't know about you. I'm a bit sick of like, the whole sort of like comedy shows and stuff just still hanging on to that like anger about Trump.
Oh right, yeah.
Well, I understand it completely, and it's fairly directed, but at the same time, it's just like, like do we need this? This is the same joke, really. It's like, we get it. People are angry about it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it serves a purpose. Like the humor doesn't really get you through it in any way.
Yeah, I think especially now it's kind of like, I think we've all seen that multiple times. But I suppose this is probably in development while he was probably still in office while this was being made. So it might just be a time thing.
Yeah, and I think that's also another thing, is that kind of it feels dated because he's gone now. Well, he's not gone, but he's not the president now.
Yeah, so it does immediately, like, all that stuff from that era is going to be like in a few years' time. You're like, oh yeah, I know when this was from. Like, it's immediately got that timestamp on it, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many things that you read and you're just like, oh man, this is just someone's directed anger at the whole Trump situation.
Yeah.
You read, you watch, like, it's in so much, and it'll be the same with like. I would not be surprised if they did a COVID episode at some point.
Yeah.
And that would be the same sort of thing. It's like, we're all angry about COVID in some respect. Like, maybe it's taken someone, maybe like they'll have something about people not believing it and all that kind of stuff. But, it doesn't really add anything outside of what it's not like, oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
It's not changing your mind on things. So then you kind of like, well, it's just someone being angry then, isn't it?
Yeah, it needs to be funny for it to like be justified, really, I suppose. So if you don't like the gags and stuff, I guess it falls flat. So how did you feel about the humor? Did it work for you, do you think? Or
it was hit and miss. I thought there was bits that were all right. There was bits that were just I did like, and I find it a lot because it's kind of like with adult animation. Obviously, it's gag after gag, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it can feel try hard at times
Mm.
if it's not done properly. So there's the odd joke where you're like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
And then there's the odd one that you're like, oh yeah, that's funny. But I think the trouble is with this subject matter is because you're making fun of something that everyone makes fun of, really. And then so it's hard. I mean, like humor is like the surprise, isn't it? Like they say something and they say something that you didn't think of, and you're like, oh yeah, that's actually really funny. It's hard to do that when everyone's making fun of this constantly.
Yeah.
Like it's such a big thing. Like conspiracy theories at the moment are massive, so you can see why they picked it. But at the same time, it's like, well, so take for example, like there's a joke, and this is not really about conspiracy theories, but the whole thing with, to go back to like the president goes into like crazy national mode and decides to create the America Cube, which is like a box over America, which is like actually only a roof away from the war.
The truth. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's like that's just actually what happened.
Yeah.
It's not even really a joke.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, that's, you're joking, but that's actually what happened.
Yeah, it's like you can't really laugh at it because, like, yeah, I remember that being in the news.
Yeah, because it was only a few years ago.
Yeah. So yeah,
so it takes away that surprise of it, and it's just like, yeah.
Like, they I feel like they needed to like up the ante a bit for that to be to sort of like land the way they probably intended it to, sort of thing. But I feel like a lot of that with a lot of the humor, I think like I felt like they were sort of halfway there with so much stuff. Like, I feel like I spent most of the time feeling like, they almost got it then. Like, it was like some kids that you're watching at like at sports day at school where they just like keep losing, just
like they're always second,
and you're like, oh, good effort, but you didn't quite make it. Almost constantly.
Yeah, it's like silver medaling everywhere.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's just another contender. Oh, here we go. With the humor and the story gags and stuff, and like the characters and stuff. Like, because I mean, it had a good cast list and everything. Like, there's some stars and stuff in there.
Yeah.
And like the voices were pretty good. And I think like the characters, it had like quite a good mix. Like they had like a decent dynamic, I think, with the people. So I mean, you've got that kind of. The main character has got a lot of ambition and stuff, and you can see that they were driven. You can like all of this in the first 20 minutes. You can see that sort of like where they want to be as a character, and then you've got all these other people causing nonsense for them, and they're all kind of strange individuals, but also people that you probably know want a person like that. So they've got like a good mix of folks in there, but I feel like they never really leaned into having them either sort of properly come at loggerheads, or like I don't know, nothing sort of felt like, oh yeah, I really like this person now, or they seem like well good, like I'm really into that.
They didn't really have any standout characters.
No, there was no moments or like with them that you were like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool actually. Like, I mean, maybe you need to sit with it longer than the episode, but which could be the case and often is. But yeah, for this one, it wasn't. Nothing really felt like I was like, oh yeah, this is right. Like I'm fully into this now. I think for me as well, there's definitely a weird thing where the story actually seems remarkably similar to. There's a comic called The Department of Truth for all you comic readers out there. It's by James Tinian IV and Martin Simmons, I think. It's all about conspiracy theories. And I think I read that like maybe the month before the show came out, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird to this too.
Yeah.
Very, very similar. But
that again, that just shows you though, doesn't it, that like it is everywhere. Because I bet it's not just comics, is it? It's it's going to be in different forms on like all sorts of different mediums. which is why it kind of takes away the shine of the subject, because it's like one of the things where everyone thinks it's a good idea at the same time, and then it's not a good idea anymore because everyone's doing it.
Yeah. And I think they almost shot themselves in the foot in a way by they kept bringing up like Men in Black, which was just like, which made you think like, oh yeah, I have kind of seen this before ages ago.
Yeah. and it was better.
Yeah.
Like, it was a better version of it.
It was a shock, and it was different. Yeah.
I wish this was about aliens.
Yeah. I wish Will Smith was making witty comments at Tommy Lee Jones all the time. Just I don't know if you felt the same way. Like it was just never quite landed. Yeah. With anything exceptional.
Yeah, no, that was it. There would be like the occasional bit where you're like, oh, that's quite funny, and then it would follow, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a really steady roller coaster. Like, oh yeah. Oh,
you think you're building up, and it's like, oh no, that wasn't the drop.
Yeah. No. I do think. I mean, it's one of them way it would probably get better with more episodes.
Yeah.
Because I thought, like, even though the characters didn't stand out particularly, I did like some of the characters. You're like, yeah, I could get to know them, and it would probably be quite funny. That whole dynamic between sort of the main character and her new co-boss.
Yeah.
I imagine that will grow, and then that will probably be where the heart of the show is. But the trouble is that relationship wasn't really there in this one, and so I think everyone is a side character. Yeah. You know, it's like all supporting cast. It felt like almost.
Definitely.
So, it's one of it's difficult because it does feel like something you have to watch more of. But we have seen things where we've watched one episode and been like, that was amazing, blown away. I want to watch the next.
Oh yeah, it can happen, and I mean, surely that should be the intention of the first episode. You should put your best one at number one. It's like releasing an album. You know, you put the single number one, and it's like, oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. This is what I want.
I mean, yeah. But then, do you think? What did you think of the art style?
I mean, it did seem very reminiscent of all the other adult animations.
Yeah.
But it did have it was had a few little kinks here and there that were like a little different. And I think sometimes, depending on the characters and stuff, like they added extra detail, and that like there was moments where it was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Some of that was the direction as well, to be honest. Like they had some like cool angles and stuff, and just like nice little shots. But overall, it was like, I mean, it could be one of any of the other shows that kind of looked very similar.
What do you think it is that like makes, or like every adult animation show looks not exactly the same but linked?
Yeah.
Like now, like it's crazy how similar they all look.
Yeah, it really is. Like I think, I don't know, like I guess like Rick and Morty or whatever, like such a big success, they want to try and use as much as of that kind of look as they can get away with, I think. And then I think, like we've said before, it might be a case of just trying to like get fans subliminally on board with it. You know, it's like oh, that kind of looks like that other thing I watch, so maybe I'll check this out. Like, without even having to do anything.
Yeah. It's just, I think, we've been on this journey of ours. We sort of went through when we went through the MTV stuff.
Yeah.
That felt like a new dawn for adult animation.
Oh yeah.
And everything was so different. And now it's like the least creative animation market going. Like there's there's no difference, no change, there's no risks taken in like different, and the only time they are is when something like new and like what's weird is every time they do it, they get a successful show, it seems.
Yeah.
But they just don't do it.
No, it's weird, especially with something like this as well, when you're going to have like lizard people, and you've got robots, and like you could really like push out the character design to be. It could have been really weird and wacky. Like, you know, when you see the poster, you could have been like, "Whoa, this looks mental."
Yeah.
But it's just like oh, adult animation. That's what you think when you look at it. It's like, oh yeah, like
it's what puts me off as well. You just like it's the same thing. Why would I want? And when the subject isn't like it's not the same as Rick and Morty really, like on paper at all. But when the subject's not too different, like it's all about weird sci-fi-ish type things as well. Why wouldn't you change it to try and distance yourself to some degree?
You really would think it'd be the other way around, wouldn't you? You'd really think they'd want to separate themselves, but apparently not. Such is
the adult animation way. Well, you know, if you're an adult animator and you're listening,
you know what to do.
That's our 10 pence worth.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah,
that's it. Give us something new. Okay, well, on that note, shall we jump forward to our reviews?
Yes.
Okay, so coming up with ideas, a new show, yeah, adult animation,
right?
So it's funny, it's about like all sorts of conspiracy theories,
right?
Yeah, like just funny stuff.
All made
up stuff, but like stuff that you think that could happen.
Right.
Because it's like conspiracy theory.
Okay. Yeah. So like, imagine if the president or something, right?
Yeah.
He like does some bad stuff, and then they like kick him out. They might kick him out. Or like that.
Yeah. They kick him out like the office, and then like everyone's angry.
Right. Yeah.
So then they raid like the White House.
Right. Yeah. They all
like
go in, like a bunch of people just like run in. Yeah.
Yeah. They just run in, and like it can't be stopped because there's so many of them, and they're angry. And then they just get like selfies with things in the White House, like as if they were at a museum, but they could touch stuff.
Yeah. Then they're all like mental and that. Like what, you know, can have people like dressed as like, you know, hooved animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To like mix it up, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's the joke.
Yeah, that would be funny.
That's the joke. Yeah, that is funny. That'd be good. That.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one.
What about is another one?
Right.
Everyone gets like a disease.
Right.
It's a disease, and everyone's getting it, and it's like killing people and making people cough and stuff.
Right.
And it's spreading everywhere. So like here's a vaccine for it, but then people like don't believe it.
Yeah. They're all like, no, it's actually bad stuff that they're giving you.
Yeah.
And
it's like actually they're like, no, it's like microchips.
Yeah. I love that.
Syringe.
Oh, you're tracking me. You're gonna track me, or whatever. Yeah.
And then the bad guy, is Bill Gates. Because you know he's like with computers and stuff.
Yeah. Bill Gates. Yeah, he's behind it all. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah,
that's
because
funny.
You know he's got loads of money and he's good with computers.
Yeah, it's got to be him at it. Yeah.
That's the joke. That's funny, that, isn't it?
That's funny. That's funny. That is. Speaking of, right, if you want to do rich people, right? Imagine that. So you've got you have rich people say that Elon Musk or whatever he is.
Yeah.
Get him and like another rich guys, Jeff Bezos or something like.
Yeah. He's like with that website, isn't he?
Yeah, all the rich folks, right? And then they're having. What if they have like a money race? They have like a race because they're all rich in that, but they're not racing on land. They're trying to they buy rockets, yeah.
Space race.
It's like who can be the first in space or something.
Like when they did it to the moon.
To the moon. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And do you know what? Do you know what would be funny? Do you know what the joke would be? One of them takes that captain, Captain Kirk,
from Star Trek.
Yeah, that's the joke.
That's funny. That is.
That is funny. That is really good.
That would crack me up.
This is like first episode. This is all this.
We need to get a full episode now. We need like, just like one thing that's like, just blows everyone away. Like, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian break up.
That wouldn't happen though. Okay, so here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. Thumbs up, hot off the press gags about things that you just haven't even thought of yet.
Oh
boy. Thumbs down, the way that adult animation is going. Just saying. And shaky middle, the way people have perceived this show. Seems strange to me. Okay, so so thumbs up, thumbs down, shaky middle. It's pretty straightforward. So, Inside Job, episode 1. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't think that it was going to be anything other than an adult animation from the moment my eyes were laid upon it, and from at the start I was definitely reassured by that. As I mentioned, it ticked all the boxes. There was lots of fast chat, social jazz going on, very topical. Well, I say very topical. Last year's topical subjects. All happening with a few swear words chucked in to make it adult, and it did feel kind of odd, really, in the fact that like there did seem to be a lot of just unnecessary swearing, for saying that like most of the actual content was like, you probably couldn't show this to kids anyway, so it's like they were swearing to get an adult rating, but they really didn't need to.
We find this a lot though, don't we, with adult stuff? Like they just cram like 100 swear words in the first 5 minutes, just so you know.
Yeah, just like, oh, it's adult, by the way, guys. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, that like exploding alien thing, didn't seal the deal. But yeah, I mean, like there's definitely some. It is kind of like a nice take on the conspiracy thing, even though you've probably seen it a few times in a few other ways. But like, I feel like it could definitely go places. Like, it's got potential. Although this first episode didn't really do much for me. There was odd moments that I did think like, oh, that was actually pretty good. The humor was very much hit and miss. But I think they are sort of developing the characters, even though it felt like they were going 100 miles an hour to get into all the conspiracy stuff, like the back room and all the aliens and robots and stuff. They're still seems like to be slowing as far as like the character development went, and sort of getting used to sort of where the show's going as a whole. So I think maybe it might be one that you do have to kind of stick with to see them tackle things other than just the president would be nice as well. For saying the scope that they've got with conspiracy theories, and it's just like, oh yeah, we just had a political episode. So yeah, I think there's probably something else in there. Was funny at times, could look a bit better, but I feel like I'm halfway there. So for that reason, I'm going to go shaky middle for this one, I think.
Shaky middle. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I agree. Obviously, we've sort of talked about. I mean, the worst thing for me is it's not really even just this show. I think it's like a long-standing adult animation gripe.
Yeah.
So you kind of can't blame them, but they are jumping on the bandwagon a little bit. So I guess there is a little bit of that. You kind of wonder if, with sort of the comments when the showrunner, she said sort of it's daunting doing an adult animation. That could be, that sort of over effort to make it an adult animation.
Yeah.
Could come from that. It's hard to say anyway, but yeah, there just seemed there was like an unnecessary sort of like, it gets to a point where, you know, when you start to notice sort of the amount of something, so like the amount of swearing or the amount of visual gore and things like that, when it goes sort of beyond what you just kind of like, all right, I get it. It kind of, you don't need it there. Why bother? And it kind of takes sort of, it's like swearing is a really good tool for like making something funny. It does actually make something funny at times.
Yeah.
But if you do it all the time, then it stops being funny.
Oh yeah.
And it just becomes sort of part of the aesthetics of the show. I did think that the characters seemed like they could develop in a good way, and you could grow to like them, even though we didn't really get the most out of them in this episode. There was no one that you were really like, ugh, I can't wait to not see them on the screen. So that's always a good thing. But equally, there was no one that blew you away. But I'd be eager to see sort of the way that relationship sort of between what is probably the two main characters, see that grow. But at the same time, I'm not chomping at the bit to watch the next episode. So yeah, I'm gonna go shaky middle as well, I think. It wasn't bad, and it has room to grow, but at the same time, I'm not blown away either.
No.
And realistically, I'm not going to watch any more of it.
This is
I'm just being honest.
Like, I can try and finish this off this week, but I'm also like, kind of don't actually want to watch anymore.
Yeah.
Which isn't a great sign, really. Not a great sign. But
so, as always, though, you know, I like to put it to you guys. Usually, someone on Twitter and Instagram will be like, "No, actually, do watch it," and they, you know, more often than not, have been right.
Yeah.
So do let us know if we're making a big mistake.
Yeah, because I'd also add as well. You know, one of the executive producers, Alex Hershey, did Gravity Falls. I'd say Gravity Falls arguably is a better version of this show because it's a more original take on conspiracies and weird oddities and stuff like that. It hasn't got unnecessary swearing in because it's for kids. And you know, it is actually, I'd argue, funnier and more mysterious and, you know, more original. So if you liked this, maybe you should go watch Gravity Falls.
There you go.
Or instead.
Yeah, that's probably more likely. But yeah, two middles, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But it's far from 90%. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So disappointing, to say the least. But there we go. A good start to the year. Two shaky middles. You can't go more down the middle than that.
That's right.
Well, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you would like to catch up on old episodes, you can do so over on our YouTube page, which is at Toon Jam Pod. Or if you'd like to get in touch with us or just follow us, you can do so on the three getting old jokes of the internet: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Toon Jam Pod as well. We also have a Patreon for bonus episodes. So head over to there if you'd like to support us. You can also go over to our merchandise store and get loads of zany, wacky, Toon Jam themed memorabilia, and that is bit.ly/Toon Jam shop. All that's left to say is thank you again. We do really appreciate it. If you like the show, why not rate and review us? It really helps us out. Or just share it. Share the show. That's another easy, free way to help us grow. And until next time, as always, you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.